They have been doing the work for years of building a Supreme Court that is configured as we now have it. And they're about to make a decision on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And I am sad to say, I do believe they are going to kill it. And that will mean that the legal tool that we have to be able to litigate in a court what are clearly racist, influenced laws to prevent certain people from voting, we're going to lose the tool that we have had before.
Happy Saturday, Rufus. This is your
Happy Saturday. Good morning.
Yeah, wonderful co-host, Craig. And it's happy for us. We're going to maintain our joy. And what you just heard was the voice of former Vice President Kamala Harris, speaking more so to where we currently are in regards to our voting act and voting rights, rather. Rufus, how are you? Before we get into that, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Dorinda Clark Cole says, "I'm still here." I'm not gonna sing it. I know earlier I used to always sing.
I'm still here. I'll sing it for us.
That's Tisha Campbell, not Dorinda Clark Cole.
Oh, well, you know I don't know no church songs. My bad.
But you knew that. So you knew it was a church song.
That ain't a church song, though. The Tisha Campbell version ain't churchy. That's just a song, right?
You just identified it as a church song, so you are familiar with
No.
the legendary.
I was thinking Tisha Campbell version, which is not a church song. You said it's Dorinda Clark. I don't know that girl. I don't know any church songs.
But you just said, but I don't know church songs.
I know Dorinda Clark sings church songs. I don't know
there we go.
What she sings.
But we appreciate your wonderful Tisha Campbell rendition. I never made it to Zen Lounge that was under the highway. In Los Angeles, and they said you would almost kill yourself trying to go to it. You had to cross a highway to even try to access the location. But hey, maybe she might reopen it. The girl keeps a job, so
she just like Keke Palmer. Tisha keep a job, Campbell.
That's it. Welcome to the Rufus and Craig Show, everybody. We're excited to be with you. And again, shout out to all of our listeners in the wonderful country of South Africa. We appreciate you too. Thank you for tuning in. Wow. It's been a week since we last talked, literally, and it's literally been a week. And one thing that I wanted to highlight that I wish we'd get more coverage, and it's not fear-mongering or to scare anybody necessarily, but we got to fucking vote, people. And what you heard was Kamala saying, and we see the insight she has. You have to think about it. She's on the inside. She's familiar with those conversations. And while America made the decision to not elect a black woman who assumed, the race, of course, at a later time. It's a lot. And I ain't read her book. Rufus would be more inclined to pick that book up and read it before me. I kind of like stay in my lane, the self-help lane, the higher ed lane, but Black History lane. But I'm sure he'll be able to come to us maybe in later episodes and share with us what was actually in her book. But Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the U.S. Supreme Court has made a ruling. And so when you think about Section 2, it's the main tool that's used to challenge voting laws, or district maps, rather, that discriminate based upon race. And so if you think about your district maps and how they're drawn, typically people, they say it's bipartisan, so it's either going to be Republican or Democratic. And what we have seen is those larger concentrations of black voters tend to lean more to Democrats in regards to elections. And so what they're pretty much going to do is redraw the motherfucking maps. And
they've already started in Louisiana
and Alabama. I think
they canceled. They canceled the upcoming election to redraw the maps.
Yeah, so it's happening, people. But the beauty of this is you have to vote. And one thing they always go to, and one thing that I remember Roland Martin saying years ago, and maybe even Boyce Watkins, and actually Charlemagne the God, we're receiving the backlash of electing a black president not only once but twice. And so it's very unfortunate, but here we are. So that 2008 election, we're still feeling the heat, the pain, for America coming out in large numbers and black people getting excited to get behind President Barack Obama. But we're still feeling it, and so they're going to do everything they can to manipulate this vote. And
I hadn't thought of that until you just said it, but that is actually true. even the president we have now is still mad at the black man winning the White House 2 times. And the whole reason he even ran for president, a lot of people think, is because the then president Barack Obama made fun of him at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2000 and I forget the year, but he made fun of him, and I think that's when the wheels started turning for him to actually run for president. Crazy.
Well, his legacy is soiled. And one thing that we always talk about on our show is really just the impacts of the economy and leveraging stories that we see and scroll by every day and not necessarily tying that to um, the economy, but it really just highlight what the fuck is going on in the economy. And speaking of the economy, shout out to Amici Builders LLC. Thank you again for sponsoring the show. We appreciate you. So getting right into our story, one of the first airlines that I had taken on my own. I remember I flew out from Dallas. I might have even parked my vehicle at your time then, Rufus. So we know this is well more than a decade.
From Dallas.
Yeah, I flew from Dallas to Boston, if you remember that.
I don't.
Yeah. I think Michi had actually taken me to the airport at that time, but I flew to go see Nikki. She had moved to Boston, and I think that was the first plane ticket that I had bought on my own without my mom doing anything. I had a what's that bank? We in MX world now, praise the Lord. But Credit One Bank had a credit card, and I remember I was like, "Girl, I'm gonna get up there to see you."
I had
Um,
forgot she moved. She lived in Boston.
yeah, she was in Boston, and I bought my ticket. Oh, y'all, it might have been under $50 round trip
It
from, and
probably
I was
was because back then that
yeah.
was real cheap. And I think you put me on to where you can go to the counter and buy the ticket. It'll be cheaper.
Penny tickets, absolutely penny tickets. Spirit is gone, and that's what we're talking about, everybody. Spirit Airlines, as of this morning, has ceased operations, and so one thing that we saw in the media gearing up, like within the last say month or so, is that they were speaking about they needed this $500,000, and under different
Five
president,
hundred million.
500 million. Thank you. They needed those funds to stay afloat, and if you think back to being under, I want to say it could have been the current president in chief. They were bailing these airline companies out, right? So I think you think post COVID, with COVID, they were bailing them out, getting them these big packages, and I just kept saying 500 million really isn't a lot of money.
It doesn't seem like
Um,
enough.
it just, so what was the significance of just 500 million would keep you open or keep, and I just had to sit with that. And unfortunately, we cannot avoid talking about race. Who's on the Spirit flights? When you,
Everybody.
well, that is true. But if you get on a flight with Spirit, and I've traveled them maybe once within the last 12 months, but I'm a Frontier guy, so I do budget carriers. But if you can't avoid talking about race. So one thing about Spirit is if there's 100 seats on the plane, 80 of them will be black and brown people. And that's reality. And so when we think about that second, what is it that is it the Secretary of Transportation who came out talking about decorum in airports and things of that nature?
Yes, it was him.
Spirit has always been the target. And one thing we talk about with Spirit, if you look at the ratings and surveys, Spirit has always been the safest airline over the last, maybe, is it 30 years
They
or
have
so?
never had an incident,
There
and
you
they have
go.
the newest fleet of airplanes.
There you
Actually,
go. There you go. So when we think about can $500,000 break them? But one thing I said about it, I said, well, this is crazy because Allegiant ain't never went down. Sun Country ain't never went down. So this could have been done
Southwest hasn't
differently.
either.
Southwest, when we think about those that offer a lower price airfare, base fare, right? They didn't go down. So why was there no pivot? We're talking about, $500 million. To me, that's not a lot of money.
It's a lot, but I feel like it's not enough to make them remain open for a substantial amount of time. Because the airline industry, the aviation industry, is very expensive to operate. I think they were in debt billions of dollars. So $500 million probably wouldn't be nearly enough, and they weren't going to recoup. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how they can. I didn't see the plan on how they were going to come out of this ahead. To be
Well,
honest,
number
now,
one, did your CEO stop taking the salary? It just
well,
makes sense to me. Operate like Sun Country, operate like Allegiant. We only flying out on Mondays, and we ain't bring your ass back until Thursday. If you want to go from
mhm,
here to Miami, it could have been a bigger pivot, right?
right.
Opposed to just saying we're done, we're out. And speaking of newer planes, I saw something on Instagram even this morning. Like you said, the guy, it's just been like a lot of moratoriums to those for those employees. And I think you told me earlier somebody had cried, a flight attendant had cried for
Yeah, I
that.
was listening to one of I think the final flight that landed at DFW. The flight attendant was making an announcement. It was, his voice was quivering and he was obviously crying. So it was kind of sad. And I feel bad or my heart goes out to the people that lost their jobs today because everybody, people need to work. So just to imagine the amount of people that work for Spirit, it's probably way less than it was in whenever they started flying 34 years ago. But people still need their jobs. So this is
Yeah.
going to affect a lot of people in a lot of different ways.
Yep. And their statement was, of course, it is with great disappointment that Spirit Airlines has started winding down its global operations effective immediately. All flights have been canceled and customer service is no longer available. While we are not able to help you rebook flight on another airline, we will automatically process refunds for any flights purchased through Spirit with a credit card or debit card to the original form of payment. We are proud of the impact of our ultra low cost model on the industry for the last 33 years and that hope to serve our guests for many years to come. And so those of you who have had a Spirit flight, they did give a website and it's spiritrestructuring.com. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's sad.
Interesting times,
And
interesting times.
they were the pioneering airline of ultra low cost carriers here in the US, if y'all didn't know that.
I'm with it. I remember getting on that plane for whatever it was like gray, and I was like, "Wow, this is the Titanic on the sky." I remember,
Not the
having lived in
Titanic on
there
the
was it
sky.
was a huge ass airplane. I think it was like it could have just been 3 on 3. It was
It was an Airbus narrow body.
it was huge, and I was because being if you live in states that I've lived in like Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, ain't no big Airbus or big Boeing. You might get a 737 Southwest, but that plane was huge, and I was like, "Oh, we're just piled on here," and I was.
Well, you do know a 737 and an Airbus 321 are nearly the same
This one was
size.
big. I just remember it wasn't a crop dust. It wasn't no 2x3.
Yeah, I got
It
you.
was just a huge plane. It wasn't a 717. And I was like, wow,
Hmm.
But we got on there, got to Boston, got back, and that was my first interaction with Spirit. So, things may turn around. It's closed as of today. Um, things may turn around, but again, another loss. Another loss. And I know a lot of what they ruled it to was fuel costs, is what they're saying, but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I see I'm just looking forward. I see maybe an opening for another airline. I think there's a new airline called Breeze Airlines that was founded by the same founder as JetBlue. I think there's an opportunity there. Just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, on the East Coast, and I was speaking of earlier, like that guy posted, they had a new fleet, like it was newer
Hmm.
planes, right?
Yeah, they're smaller though, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
a new
No,
airline
no, I
with
mean
new. Yeah.
Spirit. Excuse me, Spirit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Spirit had the newest fleet.
yeah, man. So where does that go? What does that look like? So, that's the answer today, and I think sometimes this person, the chief administrator, lets the bottom fall out because he likes to come in and say that he is the savior. So, but don't take race out of it. I say, if you look at it, more non-black people, as I've seen on flights, fly Frontier opposed to Spirit. We on Spirit, but
I
we ain't necessarily on the planes with otters and beavers and fish, and they don't have dolphins. But you know, they go over there, and what I've seen, just my observation, and we have gone to the big yellow bird that makes it happen.
the banana in the sky.
Hey, so shout out to Spirit. I'm sure to turn around with this thing that's up there. We gave
We
him a
hope.
balloon package. They asked for 500 million. We gave him 650 million. He just wants to be everywhere,
We hope
just
so.
like his ass is on those passports.
He has a God complex, and that passport thing is fucking ridiculous. Like, why would I want his ugly ass face on my passport? I would probably wait until they start making new passports in order to get one,
Yep, I think they said it's
unless
gonna
it's
be.
optional.
It's something about the next. It's a special edition passport. He'll be on the
Yeah,
next 25 or 35,000 passports, I guess, that they will produce. But those people up in the mountains, those I remember being in New York around this election time, and they were in droves saying "Make America Great Again." So maybe those bozos will go and get this special edition passport to live with this criminal.
I'm so glad
Um,
mine is good for another 5 or 6 years.
that's it. He will be long gone. Okay, moving right along, to something more lighthearted. We talk about the economic impact here, and so shout out to everybody that works more than one job. You got your main gig, you got other hustles along the way,
A
And
good
so
side hustle is always appreciated.
yeah, yeah, it makes a difference in what we do. So one person who is feeling the pain of that is the DC Public Schools attorney. And what has happened is it's been revealed, her records have shown that she has worked full time at her job as the deputy general counsel for labor and employment at the school
Hmm.
system central office, whose hours are 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. But she's also been at the Montgomery College, and her name is it's Collins. It's her Lynette. So I
Come on,
don't
Lynette.
Lynette Collins.
I
Um,
know her.
I'm sure you do. So Lynette has been teaching a general psychology course this past
Online.
spring semester. No, no,
No,
no.
not
This
online.
past
Okay.
spring semester, she's been teaching psychology 100 in person from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the commuter campus of Tacoma Park. And so Montgomery College's spokesman, Marcus Rosanna, did confirm in an email that the school does employ her as an adjunct member.
Hmm.
So, woo! He did go further to say, well, if you're a full-time faculty person, of course, you have to report out additional employment. But, oh, Miss Collins, Miss Collins, Miss Collins, she got it, she got it. Snap,
Let,
snap.
let me make sure I'm hearing you right. She's working for her
The
main job is a lawyer somewhere. What
Yeah,
you
she's
say?
general counsel for DC Public Schools.
And Montgomery, is that a suburb of DC somewhere? Or is
Um,
that the Montgomery
yeah,
I'm
it's
thinking of in Alabama?
no, 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 no. It's
Oh,
it's the
okay.
American Community College system.
Okay,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Hmm.
I aspire to be an adjunct professor myself, so maybe she
Well,
can show me the ropes or
you don't want
something.
to follow the Nick because her ass losing jobs. So no, we don't want her getting called out. She ain't, to your point, you would think online, right? In 2026, Lynette, why
Right.
you take that job, girl? Why was it worth it?
Well, is there anything that's saying that she couldn't take it? I mean,
I'm unsure, but one thing I will tell you, that one class wasn't more than $3,500.
it probably not.
So
Probably
it
not.
was it worth it? What is it? So we'll put a pin in that and we'll follow up next week to see what the pay is. I'll take it upon myself to do that. And also we'll look up Lynette's government salary to see was it worth it, Lynette? Was it worth it? So we'll spin the block on Lynette. Now, aside from that, I'm sure Lynette is a black woman. And over the last 18
Based on her
months,
name.
yeah, Lynette. But I've seen white girls named Keisha. Uh we're going to go right over to our partner on Instagram to have her explain, what is really happening with black women and losing jobs, man. It's just very unfortunate. We've talked about this before, but we're going on over here to Edwina, voice of AI on Instagram.
Thousand black women just lost their jobs this year, and nobody at the top is calling it for what it is. Give me 60 seconds. This one is diabolical. The news says it's just the economy slowing down. Companies are saying that they need to restructure. Let me tell you what they won't. This is a purge. Black women's unemployment is at the highest level since the greatest recession. And most of these women are educated. They have degrees, decades of experience, leadership track records, and the AI wave hasn't even started yet. The CEO of Anthropic just said AI will replace half of all white-collar jobs in 5 years. Half. And the sectors on the chopping block are the exact ones black women fought their way into. There's a disturbing trend on LinkedIn right now. Black women are posting what look and read like suicide notes on their profiles. Things like, I've drained my savings. I'm a week away from being evicted. I'm down to my last dollar. The corporate ladder was never built for black women. You've spent your whole career climbing a structure built on a lie. Twice the work, half the protection. And look at this. The first one cut when the music stops. That's not a glitch. That's the design. Here's my message. Stop climbing it. Build something they can't fire you from. Knowledge becomes a product. Experience becomes income. I'm showing a
All righty, so we're not going to do too much more advertisement for her in particular, but one thing they're telling black women who are in this particular situation is lean into your entrepreneurial bag. Lean into that bag and avoid the corporate structure as much as possible. And we know this is not coincidental. We've always known that those that are, in the field working, black women have been the most educated. And I remember my mama saying, man, this was years ago. My mom is a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So shout out to all of those ladies in blue and white. It might be royal blue and white. Not sure. Whatever. That a lot of Zetas are in corporate position leadership roles. And I remember that at that point, that conversation might have been more than 20 years ago. So we can see, how this particular administration is dismantling and making sure that none of that shit happens. And it's unfortunate, but this is just where we are. And one thing you heard Edwina, the voice of AI, pretty much kind of alluded to is really just AI. She did mention AI wiping a lot of white collar jobs, and I see it in my field of work. So yeah.
So that was AI speaking?
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
So her platform is how can I show you how to use
Okay.
AI to make money?
Got it.
And I cut off the advertisement at the end because that's what she was gonna say. DM
Okay.
me and I can show you how to make money with AI.
I don't disagree with people promoting their entrepreneurship, but people have to realize that everybody can't be an entrepreneur. That's my only caveat, I guess, with that.
Yeah, not in disagreement with that. And speaking of AI, and one thing that is different, China said, "Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go." And so, what's recently been reported is that China has made it illegal to replace human workers with AI to cut
I love
costs.
that. I saw
Yep,
that
yep,
today, and I
yep.
think that's great.
Yep. So it said a court in China has ruled that companies can't just fire workers because they want to replace them with AI to save money. And so this particular case involved a tech company that automated an employee's role and tried to move him into a lower paying position and then fired him after he refused. And so the court said that the company's decision was unlawful because adopting AI is a business choice, not an automatic legal excuse to terminate someone. So the ruling pretty much makes it clear that when companies bring in automation, they still have to treat workers fairly. And, that can mean offering a proper reassignment, any retraining, or any other reasonable options instead of simply pushing folks out. And so, you
Good
know,
for China.
I
Good.
wish that could be adopted here, but as I look in Rufus's
Mm,
face, we already know these
It,
motherfuckers is about the dollars over here. So,
good, good on China for recognizing that, and I don't, I don't think it'll ever happen here because we're too greedy, like you just said. We have too much greed. All these companies care about is making money. They don't care about the human element. Even the government it's money. Like money is the main
yeah,
motivator. Nobody cares about humanity. I think I always say this. I think AI is scary. Like I am nervous and afraid for the world, not only this country but the world because of the advent of AI. AI has, I mean, like it's ridiculous. Like everything is not real. Nothing is believable. AI is making YouTube videos. AI is making
yeah,
music. AI is in everything. Some of it can be a tool, but I don't think we should be using it to do every fucking thing. We have brains and we can think for ourselves, and
yeah,
I think we need to stop relying on it for every single thing. We're lazy. That's the fucking problem. We're lazy.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah, and one person that we know, we talk about the economy all the time, and he has popped up. Ooh, this might be the third time.
Oh God.
Um,
Tiger Woods.
no, as
Oh.
far as the economy, Ti, and we know Ti and Tiny ain't afraid to take their ass to court. They understand that you can sue these companies and get your money. So in the headlines this week, definitely as of April the 27th, Ti is suing. Um, a company that really bought his catalog, and he wants $52 million to sell it back. And so, this case, excuse me, not this court, this case was filed April 27th, 2026 in Los Angeles. And the lawsuit accuses Sync of breaching a 2017 agreement tied to the rapper's Atlantic era catalog. And at the center of the dispute is a buyback option that Grand Hustle claims it properly exercised in September 2024. According to the complaint, the deal has required the price to be calculated using a set formula of pretty much 12 times multiple of catalog net profits, which should have landed between 2.4 million and $3 million. However, TI side has alleged that Sync delayed providing the number for months and ultimately demanded nearly $52 million, a figure that they have argued disregards the agreed upon formula. So, for the most part, he's trying to get his music back, trying to get his ownership back, and it should only cost, upwards most $3 million. But these folks are saying, you're gonna give us the $52 million. Rufus, what are your thoughts?
I hope he gets his money or
Yeah,
his music or whatever he's trying to get.
yeah,
I hope he gets it.
yep.
I'm a not necessarily a fan, but I enjoy Ti. I enjoy Ti's music,
hmm
so I hope he gets it.
Yeah, me too. And I'm sure they be winning them cases. Now Ti and Ty, they take their ass out there to LA. and they be winning them cases. So if all things constant goes with what they've done in the past, they'll definitely win this one too. And to end our economy segment on a lighter note, woo! When I saw this, I fucking hollered. It says a California man has dressed up in a bear suit and attacked his own cars to collect insurance money.
What? And
Uh,
he attacked his own cars.
Absolutely, he sure did. He has dressed in a bear costume and he has staged fake attacks inside a Rolls Royce and 2 Mercedes, and then he submitted fraudulent claims seeking nearly $142,000 in insurance and payouts.
And how did his dumb ass get caught?
Well, I guess they saw it on video. The shit was standing up on his hind legs, and it really did not, um, it just, they were
Oh
like, that's not a
God.
real bear. And yeah, subject matter experts said that's not a bear that's attacking these these vehicles. And so, um, yeah,
The
yeah,
shit people do for money.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So,
He could have just paid Pookie and Ray Ray them to go set that shit on fire.
correct. It's
Down at the bottom of the bridge somewhere.
correct. Woo! And just shifted over to our pop culture segment, and as we begin to wind down with the show today, you all, I have been in airplanes. Oh my God, all this past week, to get out of one as of early as Friday morning around 1 a.m. And on my connection from Charlotte back to it's great to somebody, the wonderful city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
The city of brotherly love.
Yeah, I was seeing these people with beer. Charlotte Airport. If you have ever had a connection in Charlotte Airport, it can be something intense. So for me, I got on an earlier flight opposed to waiting in said airport in Texas. Shout out to the wonderful Rufus. And I just said,
Shout out to me. What are you
yeah,
showing me
because
out?
Texas gets it right with some things. Texas gets it right with some things. And so,
With most.
yeah. So all things constant, and I was looking, I was like, damn, all these people are drinking beer. They're drinking beer. And so I might have been on the phone with you, Rufus. No, I think I was on the phone with KJ.
It wasn't me.
And I was like, I said to myself, they gonna let him get on the plane with beer? He had it was in a little plastic cup. And so the agent at the desk is like, no, you need to kind of go finish that. So I see him motion him to go away. And within, 2 to 3 minutes, he had come back to actually board the flight without the beer in his hand. But I bring this up to say I saw this video of a black chick downing half a bottle of Don
Oh my God, I saw
Julio
this shit too.
before getting on her flight to well, we don't know what the hell she
I
was
don't know
doing.
what she was
She
in
did it at
Vegas, I think,
TSA.
though, right?
Where they told her ass, baby, you can't get on this plane with that. And so she
She
drank
said,
it.
I'm not letting my alcohol go to waste,
Yeah.
goddamn it.
Yeah, she drank it. So, shout out to whoever the camera person that found that, shout out to them. And I don't drink on the ground for the most part.
I wonder if she made it onto the plane, because in my experience,
Mhm.
I've seen people get denied a lot for on one particular airline, at least, get denied for smelling like alcohol, whatever, all kinds of shit. So I wonder if she actually made it on the plane.
Well,
I'm curious.
we'll have to check the comments because there's a camera somewhere and everybody's watching.
Oh, in the airport, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And believe me when I tell you, they can see everything.
Yeah, so be very careful, you all. Use your privacy screen protectors. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson has been indicted in connection with the jailbreak of those 10 prisoners that were
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Say, go ahead, keep going, because I'm interested in this.
No, it's just the Orleans Parish Sheriff,
as
has
in
been
New Orleans, Louisiana.
has been indicted in connection with a jailbreak that pretty much had those people running out. Remember last year?
Yeah,
those
like
10
with all them,
inmates?
it was like 5 black men or something, wasn't it? And they was looking for one of them for like months.
Yeah, he was
and
over in
months.
Atlanta and got caught. Yeah. So Sheriff
hold
Hudson, she was charged with a 30-count indictment brought forth by Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrow.
Bitch, you need your
And
ass whooped. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, you're fine. She's facing maleficence of office, conspiracy to commit malfeasance. Was it malfeasance in office?
Yeah,
Okay,
malfeasance.
thank you for that. And it says filling or maintaining false public records, conspiracy to commit fouling. I'm saying feeling. Ooh, it's early in the words are small. Fouling or maintaining false public records. She has obstruction of justice and conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice. And so Liz, your ass going to jail, but a bond was set to $300,000. So that means she just needs to come up with 30,000 cash or something.
Yeah, it's 10% usually. But bitch, you the motherfucking sheriff. That means you in charge of the goddamn county or the jail or whatever.
Her ass.
And your dumb ass is helping these people get out.
Well, she been bonded out. So Hudson, do better.
Why, Miss Hudson? Why would you do this? Why the fuck would you do this, bitch?
She's
I-
out of there, and I
she
think
need to be. She need to have a dumb ass out there. She's a dumb fucking. I don't know. She needs to be
She's
out there.
out of
She must have
there.
been fucking one of them.
Hudson is out. Well, you know what? She's giving me stud vibes. Let me show you her. She Hudson is out. Look at Hudson. I don't. Well, you know what? This is Hudson.
Oh, she do look like a little stud.
A stud version of Lisa Ray with locks. Yeah.
Well, girl, I mean,
Hudson, it was money. It's money. Economy. We can tie
well,
these back
from
to
where
our-
though? Where's she getting the money from? Because them niggas ain't got none.
No, they do. I've worked in a prison and as an instructor, and one thing, they'll be on their cell phones buying houses while we had class going on.
Where they get money from in jail?
They have money outside of jail, right? Of course, they don't have it in the jail, but they still have access to whatever funds they had
Okay.
outside. So I
I'm-
remember an instructor reporting, actually she was recording, she was like, they'll be in the class I'm trying to teach, and he'd be like, hold on one second, I'm trying to buy this house.
I'm
So,
gonna just say okay and nod my head. Then.
right,
ain't
because
never
your
been-
ass wants to make it
I
back
ain't-
up out of there.
I ain't never been to jail, and I don't plan on going. So
Yeah, interesting times. But we'll end it on this. Shout out to everybody. We appreciate you giving us another try week after week. Bye, Rufus.
bye.